Good morning. Glad you could join us this Thursday on Sunrise. We have a lot of big stories we're following this morning, including the ex-Minneapolis police officer who will be sentenced in a few hours. First, though, let's check in with Guy to see if we're going to hit that 90-degree mark again today. Hey. Let's get back to our top story this morning. In 5 hours, former Minneapolis police officer Thomas Lane will be sentenced in federal court. He's one of the 4 officers involved in George Floyd's murder. Jennifer joins us with what we can expect during the sentencing. Jen?
Kris.
Yeah, a lot of interested parties are waiting to see what kind of sentence Lane gets today. Thank you for that, Jen. In less than 4 hours, day 3 of deliberations start in the Jamal Smith murder trial. The jury told the judge yesterday they've made a decision on the second-degree murder and gun possession charges, but they're still unsure about the first-degree murder charge. The judge told them to keep deliberating instead of ruling a hung jury on that count. This morning, we're showing you part of a newly released body camera video from the standoff in Minneapolis that ended in the deadly police shooting of Andrew Clay Sundberg. Some community members have been pushing for the release. Department leaders say they reviewed the video with Sundberg's family first. We're taking you live from the nation's capital right now. The January 6th committee is getting ready to hold one last hearing later tonight. Today, the committee is focusing on the 187 minutes between the end of former President Trump's speech that day to when he told supporters at the Capitol to go home in a video. Trump insists he's done nothing wrong and that the committee is motivated by politics. NBC will be airing special coverage of that hearing. You can watch it all tonight right here on KARE 11. It all starts at 7 o'clock. Let's check in with Guy. He's in the backyard and a pleasant morning out there.
It sure is.
In about 5 hours, Governor Walz and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan will address crime and gun violence in the state. They'll be meeting today to discuss the issue with law enforcement officials. This meeting comes a couple weeks after a turbulent July 4th weekend where there were multiple shootings, as well as people shooting fireworks through downtown Minneapolis. More people these days are saying they're getting spam messages on their phones. Now a new watchdog report is calling for strict enforcement from the FCC on robotexts. NBC's Vicki Wynn reports. There's a little more than a month left of summer for kids here in Minnesota, but across the country, many students will return to the classroom in just a few weeks, which means back-to-school shopping is in full swing. But for parents this summer, that means shopping amid historic inflation and recession fears. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan shares some tips to help you save on supplies. According to the NRF, families with children in elementary and high school plan to spend an average of $864 on school items, which is about $15 more than last year. Well, let's get some weather knowledge this morning. It's time for Weather Minds with Laura. All right, this is exciting. Only 3 more days until Minnesota Twins superstar Tony Oliva is finally inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Randy Shaver sat down with Tony and many of his friends as he prepares for the biggest day of his life on Sunday. Randy will be in Cooperstown through the weekend, bringing us the latest on this year's inductions. You'll hear from another Twins great, Jim Cott, as he goes into the Hall this Sunday as well. Plus stories from Cooperstown and all the great Twins activities that are planned there. Our coverage starts tonight at 6 o'clock. Today you can help save lives in Minnesota. Health Fair 11 is teaming up with Memorial Blood Centers for a blood drive from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's being held at the Minneapolis Marriott West Hotel. That's in St. Louis Park. Walk-in donors are welcome, but appointments are preferred. Head to kare11.com/healthfair for more information. Every donor will receive a T-shirt. That sounds pretty good, but this might be even better. 7 donors will win tickets to the Minnesota State Fair, which, by the way, is just over a month away. It runs August 25th to September 5th. After the break at 6:45, we have some good news for parents still struggling to find baby formula when the FDA says you could grab some. When looking for a doctor, about 70% of Americans head to the internet to find a medical professional. But those glowing 5-star reviews might not be as great as they seem. NBC's Kate Snow is here with the scope of fraudulent reviews. Good morning, Kate. If you're having trouble sleeping, researchers say these songs will help you doze off. Your Song by Sir Elton John, I Love You by Billie Eilish, and Sunflower by Post Malone. Scientists in the UK say these songs share qualities with lullabies, including their tempo and energy. Your flight is canceled and you're stuck at the airport hundreds of miles away from home. What do? Why not hop into a car with complete strangers? This actually happened to 5 Minnesotans who decided to rent a car in New York and make the more than 1,200-mile trek back home to Minnesota all together. Alicia shares their story. That car ride really bonded them together, and they're friends for life, it sounds like. Would you ever do that, hop in a car with a bunch of strangers?
You know,
being from Minnesota, Minnesota nice, why not?
Why not? Hey,
You share that thing in common. That brings you together.
They all made it, and I know you're wondering how much it costs. Well, it costs $500 for the car, and it also cost them $500 in gas. They had to fill up 4 times, so about $200 a person, which isn't bad. And they got home. Got to see their families.
They seem like nice people.
Exactly. What a great story for that. Hey, you're going to share some knowledge with us. You got some weather mind.
Exactly.
Well, have you seen this yet? This is a picture of a possible cougar seen in Shakopee. A man sent this to bring me the news. He says he saw what he thought was a coyote and snapped the pic, but later his sister said it looked more like a mountain lion. So he called police to report the sighting, and police said their call wasn't the first. So a lot of people did see that. The U.S. Postal Service is making a big switch, and it's all to help the environment. In 3 minutes, how they're planning to go green.